everyone, and welcome to the Lightbringers podcast, episode 57. Thankfully, no one can hear you yet, so you're good. When I say you, I mean our guests, because I'm letting them calm down for a minute while they have a little bit of water. They're all a bit thirsty today, as I found out. So today we're going to be talking about the latest Guild Wars 2 blog post after the Dragon Cycle, which was released on 25th of July, as well as the Screenrant article, which is very exclusive, which is the first look at Felicia's days, Guild Wars 2 return as Zojja with Bobby, Stein, and also Indigo as well from the Guild Wars 2 Arenanet stuff. Indigo book? I'm not sure it's... Alright, I'm gonna actually put you in now. There we go.
Indigo Lind / Indigo book. I believe it's Indigo Lind at the moment.
Lind.
Hello.
Okay. Hello everyone. Say hello.
Hello. Hey.
Hello.
Hey guys, welcome to the stream.
Oh god.
We're back.
Off to a good start.
It's a start.
It's a start.
Definitely a start. Hello everyone. Welcome. If you would like to, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you do want to check out more, hit the alarm bell if you want to find out when the Lightbringers videos come out on YouTube. And if you have not followed the Twitch channel, you can do the same as well. You can find out when these episodes come out live on a Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific-ish. Today is 1:30 p.m. It's a bit later because everyone was catching up and having a chat because Boots went away and then came back again. And they've been probably talking about
back
that.
again. It's a good story.
Yeah. It was a great story. We were also talking about many things. Also, not the world ending, X's.
Are you talking about World of Enders?
Not really.
Oh, okay. Nobody would.
When you're actively editing and making videos, are you world of ending because it's present progressive?
That's
Yes.
a good question, actually.
It's more passé imparfait for me, though.
I don't speak Canadian.
Oh my god. Okay. Right. Turning his mic off. So for the response. Okay, let's start with a little bit of an intro. And welcome everyone if you are here live as well. Kroof, tell us what you do it in a brief amount of time.
Hi everyone, I'm Kroof. I record, then edit, then post videos on YouTube. Sometimes I also tweet various GIFs and reactions and memes.
Whoa, steady on.
Oh,
Steady on.
Oh my god, sorry.
Steady
You
on.
know,
It's not
I'm
a tweet anymore.
Xing. I'm
No, you
Xing.
X.
You X? Do you X
X'd.
out or do you X?
Or do you X in?
Ow.
Anyways, I X certain
X'd.
things. I
Re-X.
X.
Oh yeah, I'm Xing you. That doesn't sound like it's gonna be good.
No.
You
I
don't
mean, it
X
is.
anyone. Oh yeah, that's a DM. No, DMs are still fine.
XN radio.
You slide into their X. I don't know. Sorry.
Please don't slide into my X. We will no longer be friends.
I feel like a lot of
DMX
people.
-ing you.
It's gonna be an X.
Grant Harold was singing
And-
DMX earlier.
I post stuff to the internet,
Absolutely.
and that's what I do, and that's who I am, and that's what I believe in, and that is my
Go follow
magnum
Kroof. They
opus.
also released a video about this very blog post that we're going to be talking today about. Excellent. Grant Harold is maybe playing World for World, I'm not sure. Boots, that's what you do. What are you doing? Are you? I bet you are.
Hi, I'm Boots. You can find my World of Enders on YouTube.
You can find your World
and
Adventures on YouTube.
You could find me at World of Enders on. I mumble, sorry. And yeah, you could. I'm doing adventures nowadays, but that's not going to be forever. But more importantly, the Festival of the Four Winds is out right now, and I'm arriving to it late. And now I only have 12 days to do 7 adventures and get good on them.
And beat our record.
Yes, our quote-unquote record.
Yes, our record. 'Cause we
Our.
said it.
I'm happy to be a part
Together,
of it.
we all equally worked really hard
Equally
to
and
get
evenly.
our record.
Fornex, you weren't here, I don't think. So I'll give you some
No.
context on this. So what happened
It was
was... is-
butterscotch, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think so, yeah. Oh, God, wow, that was a year ago. So we did a skiff race we did the skiff race in this festival, and basically
And
got
I
like a
ended
really
practicing.
good time. Yeah, Boots is like, you know, a legend, obviously, but
So I
because
piloted
we
this
were
thing,
at the
and then I was
Go on,
like,
you tell.
I was piloting this thing, and I was like, okay, so I'm high on the leaderboard right now, but if you have people in your skiff cheering, your boost comes up faster and you go faster. So hey, all of us here on the Lightbringers, let's pile into the skiff, and I'll see. Well, first of all, I'll try to get a good score, and I'll see if you guys get a score as well by being in the boat. And so we all started the adventure at the same time, went on the boat, and we got a really good score, really high up on the leaderboard. I think it was like 20th overall when I first got it. But because Jebro, Kroof, Otterscotch, and I think was Rook there at the time? I
Might
think
have
so.
been.
Because they were sitting slightly ahead of me on the boat as the pilot of the boat, you're on the stern. They're in the bow. They all got 0.2 of a second faster than me on the race. So I'm there on the leaderboard, but all four of them are like just a bit above me, and it's the worst feeling in the world.
It's the
terrible.
worst feeling of the
Because all-
Wow,
world.
just
all
say
they
you
did
hate
was
us.
sat. They
Just
sat
say
in
you
a
hate
boat.
us.
They sat in a boat, and they're higher than me on the leaderboard.
We're in a boat. Sorry.
And I'll have you know, sitting in that boat was hard work. Those seats
We
were
were
not
cheering a
comfortable.
lot as well. Like there was a lot of
Yeah,
arm
I'm sure. Yeah.
like raising and stuff.
You have chosen to weaponize your OCD in these activities, so this upon your head be it. Okay.
This
We
is my
just
fault,
joined
I know.
in. We supported you, and that was our reward. That was my only top 100 lifetime placements. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Carry me,
we
Daddy.
We didn't have any. Yes, indeed. We didn't. I didn't have any flippy floppies, but next time.
Next time.
You
I'm
didn't
on the
have any flippy floppies. Is that confirmed?
Not so true. It's sake. It's a sake I brought back from Japan.
Oh
Wow.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
T-Pain was also there. Exactly. But not that guy. Wasn't allowed to come on the boat. Fornex, tell us what you do and where you do it.
Hey, I'm Fornax. I make content on the internet for YouTube, and I've joined the Paleo Partner Program as well. Just, anyway. And there's a current video out on my channel talking about the thing we're going to talk about today, the blog post, and a little bit about Felicia Day, and some wild speculation about Lagos being, Kryptis already invaded our planet, sort of thing. So anyway, yeah, do check out the video. It's wild. It's a wild ride, and it's unscripted. So
Largos
you have
being
been warned.
cryptic.
Well, yeah, I feel like they were a vanguard. They're so if you've done the Solid Ocean Fractal. And Kanaksai, he makes a big thing of you being his prey. He's a hunter, very much like the Lagos, and he also is associated with a house, Arctus, I think it is, which is also very much in the vein of the Lagos. And I'm thinking, were they like a proprietary scouting force that decided to make their home on this world rather than invade it? Or are they just waiting for the rest of the Kryptis forces to come now that the firmament has been broken?
The firmament.
But that's
So,
my...
I'm about to post something in our chat here on the podcast, not in our own chat here. And
Is
this
this relevant
is
to
for
the
you.
Fornex's thing, or are you just saying something random?
This is for you, Fornex.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just for me, nobody else gets to see.
Yeah, it's in our.
Kanexai is Lagos
in our
turned demon.
Discord chat.
Mushroom
Very
says.
nice.
Mm.
Yeah.
Are we sure the
Particular.
Kryptis are just angry worldview worlders, Debarras says? That would be funny if we could turn into them and run about and do the things.
The souls of salty world versus worlders.
Probably more so PvPers now. I think they're probably worse. In chat as well, Boots, apparently, according to Neblion Draconis, you need to get the new skiff skin that's in the store right now because the driver is sitting in the front of the others on that.
Oh. Oh yeah, okay.
That's probably exactly why they've brought it in, I would say.
Oh my goodness.
So there's a pay to win option in Guild Wars 2.
There
Wow.
is a
It is pay to win.
Wow.
It's pay to
I'm
win
leaving.
against us.
I'm canceling my sub.
Did you see Boots' smile when that was mentioned?
Yeah, he lit
That's
up.
mine.
That's very interesting. How much is it? Is it always available, or
Well,
do you
like
have to wait?
1,500 gems probably, isn't it?
Yeah,
I could do
it's
that.
one that
I
you
mean-
can. It's one that you can purchase off the gem store.
But it's not like seasonal or anything like that. It doesn't.
Well,
go
you
up
know,
there?
it'll probably go
Well, it's
after a while.
new. Yeah, it'll probably go after a few months.
Mm.
But you only
What's it
got
called?
two.
What's-
You've only got. What's it called? It's the new one. It looks cool actually. It's got like a
Okay, hold on,
hologram
I'm
on the
logging
side.
in right now.
Yeah, it's off of the Wizards, the new like Secrets of the Obscure themes and spells and
Okay.
all that stuff.
You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'm about to buy it.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well done. There you go. Good job, Nebliel. Just selling Guild Wars 2 for the rest of us. Fornex also
Yeah,
has
sure.
an awesome video as well about the latest blog post and all the things. So blog post and all the things as well. So they've
Yes.
both Kroof and Fornex have got videos out. So if you want to go and check out their opinions, check them out there. But also you can check them out here as well. So that's good. You got 3 times triple the blog post.
So is this the spellbound skiff skin?
Is that what's called?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's 100% you're in the front.
At least that's what people on the internet say,
That's
and
what they
I
say.
have historically always trusted people on the internet.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
same.
buying it. I'm buying it. So you better not be.
I
screwing
bet
with me.
it's not now. Are you sure? Are you sure? Like you weren't? Maybe they were trolling.
I'm buying it right now. 3.
I mean, it's worth it because it
Wait,
looks good.
wait.
So.
2.
I mean,
wait.
wait. Well, I mean, okay,
Ah,
so
Neb's got it. Neb's got it. So there you go.
Okay. I
yeah, it does
completed the
look
pur-
like you are in the front. Yeah.
I
Okay.
completed the
yeah.
purchase. Take all.
I like how you're giving us a deadline, and I'm like, it's more funny if you spend your money.
Alright, it is actually my first purchase skiff skin too.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
Nice. You can get a lot of the skiff skins off the statuettes now. So, it's good for you in there. Okay, let's
Yeah,
do...
you're in the front.
Okay, good. Do you want to post a
Good.
picture on X? So you can...
Why am I? Oh, and you hover on the seat. You're like flying on it. You're like levitating.
Interesting.
Zen, baby.
Wow.
Zen, baby.
This is all we're
Okay.
talking about on this podcast, right?
Well, actually, we're going to talk about
Yeah,
after
yeah.
the dragon cycle. Bum, 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 bum. That is
It's
the new
hot.
Stinger song. After the dragon cycle. It is, I think Indigo. Did Indigo write this?
Yes.
Yes.
Indigo did. Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice. Okay.
She has the most adorable. I was gonna say Twitter picture, but she doesn't. She has the most adorable X picture. It doesn't
my
work.
God.
It just doesn't work.
It just
does not
feels
work.
gross.
It does.
And I'm currently sweating like there's no tomorrow, and that just felt grosser than anything.
This skiff feels a little bit like thicker, bigger in the, you know,
In the back.
I think in the
In the
back
back.
than the basic skiff. I'm wondering if like it's harder to maneuver in the races.
I mean, you can try and we can do the podcast if you want. I mean, you know, it's up to
Oh
you.
no, okay. The wheels in the
Extra
back are like
thick.
clipping. It's fine.
Big skiff.
The wheels on the bus go thick, thick, thick.
Oh my gosh. You're gonna have to
Okay,
herd
okay.
us tonight.
Damn.
Stop
Back to the
eating
podcast.
and start herding
Damn,
us.
That's
that
why
skin
I-
is thick. Ooh.
I'm
Wow,
back,
Boots.
I'm back. I closed the game.
I'm going to read the first
Okay.
bit because everyone's a bit.
Oh wait, no, I'm supposed to read, right?
A
Yeah.
bit.
It's supposed to.
We have missed your dulcet tones, sir. Serenade us.
Dulcet tones.
Yeah.
Okay. What,
They missed
why
you,
did
that's
you
true.
laugh at that? By the way, Kroof? What was so funny about dulcet tones when referring
Dulcet.
to my voice?
I think dulcet.
I don't know. Why do you think I laugh? you pivot the question back to the person.
These lot are on one today. It's normally me.
Okay.
Chat Google's dulcet. That's fine. You carry on, guys. It's okay.
All right. Am I going?
Yeah.
Do what you want.
hopefully.
Mate. Yeah.
Popcorn. We're ready.
Yes,
Yeah.
please. After the dragon cycle, go.
Hi, Indigo here. I'm the narrative lead in Guild Wars 2 Secrets of the Obscure, one member in a team of passionate developers. Before Secrets of the Obscure drops in just a few weeks, I'd love to walk you through some of the questions we tackled as we started carving a new path for Tyria. Disclaimer, we're going to stay pretty high level here, but be mindful of some minor teasers ahead and major spoilers for previous expansions. After we wrapped Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons, and our 10-year saga of the Dragon Cycle came to an end...
Wait, what?
We found... What?
You say Saga, like Bob Saget.
Saga, like a story?
Wow, chat. Jebro's on one today.
Is that how you say it? How do you say saga? I say saga.
Saga?
Saga.
Saga. Okay,
I
sorry.
see.
Saga.
I say Sage, but
I'm pretty
No,
sure
I
it's
just genuinely wondering.
Saga. I think it's Saga for people who aren't British.
Really?
Yeah.
no, I say
Proof-
Saga.
You say Saga? Oh, maybe it's just Canadians.
Yeah.
Or maybe, yeah,
Probably
maybe
is.
it's just you, yeah.
It's all that poutine. It's melted your brains.
Because no, it's true. It could just be Canadians. Because I say pasta, and I know Americans say pasta.
No, Americans say pasta as well. No, they say...
No.
Wait, what do you say?
I say pasta, but I think
I say
Americans say
pasta.
pasta.
I say pasta as well.
We say
It's because you
Polska.
still have the king. You need to get rid of him immediately.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after we wrapped on Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons and our 10-year saga of the Dragon Cycle came to an end, we found ourselves at a critical point in the story of Guild Wars 2. There were quite a few directions that we were really interested in pursuing. We've got tons of stories in Tyria left to tell, from mysteries we've hinted at in years past to completely novel ideas. After all, the world is only just finding its footing following the end of the Dragon Cycle, a global affliction that promised certain destruction until Suwan's death in Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons. Spoilers, everybody! Spoilers. Suwan is a dragon. We had a lot to say, so the question was, where do we start? We've only explored a small portion of Tyria to date, and even then, a great deal of the world we do know has vastly changed over the events of the last 11 real-world years.
Mm-hmm.
We want to dig into that with more focused, self-contained stories, and we hope to bring each of these into the limelight as we see Tyria react and unravel to a future without chaos. Well, without dragon-centric chaos.
Mm-hmm.
But before we slow things down and explore modern Tyria, we opted for something a little more mysterious to mark the beginning of this new arc. So that's interesting, if we want to stop and talk a little bit. From what they're saying here,
There's one line left, Boots.
Ugh. We had a handful of front runners, but a franchise-long mystery quickly became our leading focus, the Wizard's Tower.
Oh, he's from the South.
Yeah, that's a good accent.
So it sounds from this like in our expansions coming up, they want to explore other portions of Tyria.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like places maybe that are on the map that are not revealed yet.
But alternative universe.
And or
Yeah.
already revealed, but just need some more elaboration.
Or they have side bits added. Or they're,
Well, Wizard's
or they're
Tower, I guess, is
alternate
the elaboration
versions.
part.
Or
Yeah.
alternate versions of Tyria as well.
Really,
I mean,
anything they want.
A little later on, they talk about restoration. I'm looking at you, Keswick Hills. You really need a facelift, you know.
Well, a
that's
lot
what's
of them
happening
need
with the Wizard
restoration.
Tower, right?
Mm.
Wizard's
Or-
Tower leaving is a resurrection, I guess, of the Keswick Hills. When the Lizard's Tower is gone,
The Lizard's Tower.
when the Lizard's Tower is gone, I'm pretty sure that Keswick Hills will just go back to normal and everything will be okay there.
Mm. But what are they going to call the town now? Because they can't call it Garen's Hoff because he's no longer there. He's no
Garen's
longer
Hoff.
huffing over Garen.
There we go. We've got
Well,
loads
what we're
of
gonna do-
people's street names after them. It doesn't mean they're always sitting about there.
Yeah. Like King
Like-
Street.
Is that not the rule?
There are dead people with like towns and stuff named after them. They're not like buried
It's-
there.
I have a town in
It's a Fanny
Czechoslovakia named
Adams,
after
not
my
permanent
family.
resident of Fanny Adam Row. No.
Sorry,
okay.
but
Wait, what?
Tio, Kroof just said something very important. Kroof,
Sorry.
repeat that.
What?
Say what you just said one more
You have a
time.
town in Czechoslovakia named after you.
Well, Czechia.
I
Used to be
hope so, because Czechoslovakia, is it still named, or did it stop being named after your family?
No, it's still named after my family, but my family doesn't live there.
Okay.
Or I don't know which came first, the town or my family. I don't know.
Are you like royalty?
I think so.
Well, I like to think I am, but everyone else seems to disagree. So, but I don't think I am actually. I think it's just like we had a place that,
Believe it or not, Debaris, Kroof is not their real name.
What? Y'all didn't know that?
Or is it like your last name
We're not
is
doxing Kroof right now.
your last name is Smith, but in Czech, and there's a street where all the Smiths used to work called Smith
I
Street.
don't think so, because
Okay.
I think we're one of the only families that has our last name on Earth.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Boodlebutt.
Yes. What? Oh yeah, but Garenhoff.
Right. So yeah. So now that Garenhoff is gone, the town is called Garen's Off somewhere else.
Yes.
Yeah. The end.
Is that it? That was the whole
That
thing?
was exciting.
But no, I mean, Boots brings up a very interesting point that we'll probably get to later on, especially like after this expansion. But going back to Tyria and seeing that the studio and the narrative team wants to revisit Tyria, I'm very happy about that. I'm very excited because there's still a lot that is often introduced during the 10 years of the Dragon Saga, but at least in my opinion, hasn't really had its moment to have the payoff. So
Glaring things that are not yet revealed and are in the map of Tyria. The Tengu area, the
yes.
domain of the and so that's one. More parts of Cantha that we haven't seen. I think. Far to the west, where possibly the guy from the Order of Whispers comes from.
Malik.
No, not Mal. Well, that's another thing.
Another one. Dorn Velazquez.
Yeah, Dorn Velasquez.
Scavenger's Causeway has always been an area that I've been interested in. But
Janthea.
Janthier.
Yeah. The Isles of Janthier.
The Norn, are they going to go back up north with Jormag?
No, we don't need that.
Oh, never mind.
Decided.
Never mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we got a lot of stuff. Anyway, we should continue.
Did you say which, well, I mean, that might actually be, sorry. Well, I'm not sure what came out there. What, I mean, you kind of, some of you said what places you'd like to revisit Interior. What's the number one place you'd like to revisit? Or did you kind of say them?
Old Lion's Arch. I'm sorry. That was a meme.
Well, you can revisit that, technically.
I mean, if I wanted to revisit an area, a zone that we currently have.
Yeah,
but with,
it would be
story.
redone, redeveloped, and brought into the present as well, maybe.
This is just me personally. I would like to explore Orc Basin and/or Dragon Stand and see those regions expanded a bit more.
Oh, you're talking. Oh, right. Okay, we're talking about
I want to.
Heart of Thorns. Yeah.
I felt like they moved very quickly from the jungle after Heart of Thorns into season 3. So I always like that area. So I'd like to see. I'd always be happy going back there.
Anyone else?
Space.
No, we've not been to space before. Well, I mean, technically we have a little bit.
We have. Yeah, we were on an island with Bran in space.
You want that out of anything in the game. You want that asteroid thing to be redone.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, what? Go ahead.
Oh,
go for it.
Oh, okay. I would like all the large raid areas to be made open world maps. A version of them to be made into open world maps so people can explore them. Not taking away the raids, but just making them into open world maps so that people can explore them.
I mean, sure.
Because they're connected to all the different areas anyway, right?
Exactly. Yeah, they are. They're just maps, open world maps that you have to be in a raid to go and see, which is,
Very true. Okay.
If they ever did a Mist
also,
expansion,
new
I would-
money for all rope.
Yeah, the
Sorry,
Hall
go
of
on.
Chains in that area. I think that
Oh,
would be
yeah,
really
yeah.
cool to see in a Mist expansion. Because we have that little area, but what's beyond it?
Go to Go to the different god realms. Go back down to what's it called of Woe?
Field?
The Fissure of Woe.
Oh,
Fissure
Fissure.
of Woe, yeah.
Field. Field of Woe. There's a
Field of
field
Woe.
as well. I'd
Yeah,
like.
so it does definitely actually that line, although true and makes sense, what they're saying about what they want to do going forward in Tyria.
Yes.
It makes sense, but it does make me worry that we're not going to space.
I mean, just for this
Well.
expansion.
No, they're saying for future expansions, not just this one.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think space is out of the picture.
I hope not.
I think you should
Dude,
keep reading
you-
Boots because there's good news on the way for you, sir. There is.
Okay, all right. The Wizard's
Okay.
Tower.
Wait. Yeah, okay, fine.
Okay, the Wizard's Tower.
Unless anyone else wants to read. Unless Boots is fine with reading.
I'll do the Wizard's Tower section.
God, I was gonna say, Creep.
Get out of here. Get out of here, Boots.
Or
Whatever.
you duel for it in a PvP arena.
All right, let's do it.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
a win. I'm a win.
No.
You ain't
Yeah,
I
seen
ain't got
nothing.
time
You've been
for that.
away for a few weeks in Japan, like having the best time of your life.
I'm logging
I've
in
been
right
sitting
now.
home sweating in my chair playing PvP.
Logging in. What do you
Sweaty
gonna
gamer.
run?
Oh, you have been, yeah. You've been thinking about the future. Guild Wars being a guardian with pistols. And...
I formed a career plan. I have a calendar and everything now. I'm thinking about my future.
I loved Reader Geeks reading. I thought that was amazing. You should do that more, Ham.
Reader Geek, get on the Discord.
There you go. Oh, right. Okay.
Okay. The Wizard's Tower.
The Wizard's Tower.
The Wizard's Tower and its creator, are some of Tyria's best kept secrets, dating back to the original Guild Wars. It's taken up residence on the Tyrian horizon since the beginning. All Tyria knew was that it was supposedly owned by a wizard named Isgarin, although he's never been physically seen, and that a few individuals had tried to breach its walls. Looking at you, Galrath. During the Guild Wars II era, it rested above the hamlet of Garenhof until we plucked it out of the sky in the June 27th update. Aside from a couple of teasers over the years, we've shielded the truth about Isgarin and his mysterious tower. Until now. The Wizard's Tower provided the perfect canvas to tell a very different story, one that spans thousands of years. Focusing on Isgarin, the Wizard's Tower, and the Astral Ward allowed us to dive into some of the deepest crevices of our lore. Pause while I swallow my
Oh,
spit.
wait a second.
I said
That's not
pause
in
while
there.
I swallow my spit.
Yeah, no,
We
but
did
pause.
hear
But
that.
hold on a second. Do you think this is a foreshadowing, a little bit of a tease?
Of what?
Deepest crevices of our lore?
Oh my god.
Crevice Fisher?
Well, they kind of explore what that crevice might be. We're talking
You're talking
ancient
about
beings.
the Fissure of Woe.
Fisher of Woe,
Whispers.
crevice of lore? Yeah, I don't know, man.
Whispers. Oh, whispers of long ago wars and buried secrets. We'll be fighting an entirely new enemy faction only subtly teased in content in the past. It's a
Ooh.
story that lit a flame under the development team too. Over the years, almost every team wanted to utilize the Wizard's Tower, from raids and fractals to story. But no single idea landed where we wanted to take it. Giving the Wizard's Tower an entire expansion felt like the best way to honor what is now a multi-game mystery. With the Dragon story bookmarked at Oreen's temporary departure, the team was eager to let off some steam and work on something a little wild. The Wizard's Tower was just as exciting to us as it has been for the community to speculate about all these years. When we managed to wiggle it into just about every pitch we had for the fourth expansion, we knew we had our topic.
That's amazing, isn't it? How long they've been thinking about doing this for, ever since Guild Wars. Or how they could just bring in this one thing, and because it is so secretive and so mysterious, like you can do whatever. You just do whatever with it, but like giving it enough, and it's almost interesting. Part of me is like, I'm really hyped about this, and then another part of me is like, it won't be a mystery anymore. You know what
That's
I mean?
fair.
Does that sadden you?
That's how it
It
works.
does a little bit. It does a little tiny bit, but not as much as the hype and excitement of like it's in the game. Like we're going to be able to like there's a whole expansion around it. Like if there is going to be anything done, making an expansion towards this Wizard Tower is probably the best thing they could do. Like don't give it like some weird little side story. Like bang, right in there, the whole thing.
Well,
gonna be exciting.
18 years in the making. I mean,
Yeah. Very cool.
yeah.
You know what's also funny?
Hmm?
Alona, host of Ascalon, figured out the announcement date of the Wizard's Tower expansion
Yeah.
was 8 years to the day that there was a live stream of guild chat with
That
Peter
one.
with Peter Freeze on it, where he was going, should we talk about the mysteries of the Wizard's Tower?
Yeah. I remember that. So,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Do you guys want to know who Galroth is?
Is that in this blog
And
post?
what they're
do.
talking about?
Is this in
yeah,
the blog
I
post?
Can you tell
actually-
me all about Galrath?
Galrath.
Right, is it in the blog
Is it-
post?
Galrath.
Yeah, there's that
literally.
little-
It can't be Saga, not Saga, and Galrath, not Galrath.
It's like Sean Bean, okay? It's spelled exactly the same. It's not
Well,
Sean Bon and
I
it's not Sean Bean.
pronounced it as Galrath,
Yeah.
so
So,
Wait, are we
I-
going to
I
find
did a
this
deep
out
dive.
literally?
no.
In a
no,
bit?
no.
Oh, okay.
No,
All right,
no,
yeah,
no,
go.
no.
Everyone, get ready. Lay back. Listen.
Okay,
ASMR.
so there is shockingly little lore about the Wizard's Tower. Galrath is the only NPC to ever have a quest associated with it. Literally saying that he's a bad dude. He's the speculation is he was a Lion Guard turned White Mantle. He has the same armor presentation as Justicar Hablion in the first game. He is at the location of the Wizard's Tower along with a load of Verata cultists. Verata being an NPC necromancer trainer in pre-searing Ascalon. So this is like a deep cut here, guys. So Galrath, the quest literally is from Lion's Arch. You go out and you murder him. We're not told what power there is in the tower, only that there is power in the tower. Oh my god, that he is
Power
trying
in the
power in the tower. That he is
Should be an
trying
achievement
to.
name.
Yeah, it should totally be. And that he's trying to get it,
Ragnarok.
and we have to go and murder him for his effort. And the only other interesting thing is the fact that it looks like Verata and his cult is interested in the tower as well. And I point that out because in the wiki, there is a post about Verata, and they don't put anything in there that isn't associated necessarily. So we could see Verata and his cultists. He is a necromancer after all. He fell out of favor and lost his position after the searing of Ascalon because he was a bit naughty, and he got kicked out of the Necromancers Guild, and he made his own guild that was the Cult of
Cult of what, sorry?
Yeah. The Cult of Verata.
Oh, the Cult of Verata,
of the armor set in game.
I'm not sure what.
I
I don't remember what that looks like.
that sounds particularly exciting, just in general, because I like this new focus on real-world magic for Tyria, and the idea that, we'll get to this in a moment, but Zojja and Elementalists and the Wizard's Tower has like a really hyper focus on magic, but then also the idea of demonic forces and necromancers. This is a storyline that I've kind of wanted to explore for a very long time now. So I didn't know that about Galrath and Verata's
I think we
cult.
might have talked about this before, because I remember the talk about Verata, and then I was looking up Verata. The fact that it's in the original game is a reference to what they say in Evil Dead, the summoning words you say in Evil Dead, Klaatu Verata Nikto, which in itself, that is a reference to the day the Earth stood still, a phrase that originated there, Klaatu Barada Nikto. And I thought that it was really interesting that Day the Earth Stood Still, Evil Dead series, and possibly this expansion all have one thing in common, which is
Dead people.
creatures from another world coming to Earth, and you have to fight them off.
Invasions and stuff. So so we think, okay, so is this from like an alternate dimension multiverse? Like we were kind of a lot of people been talking about.
Yeah,
like,
so
this
like in Evil
multi-universe
Dead, it's like
I don't know,
demons, right?
multiverse, but
or whatever. It's
the
Marvel.
mists, another
the mists.
realm,
Yeah.
same timeline, just different.
Fisher of Woe,
Yeah.
perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah, Fisher of War.
Lots of fishing. Yes.
Menzies. Go on, correct me. Menzies.
Oh
Men's-
my god. If we get to go to the Fisher of Woe and there's pools of like lava or water or something and you get to fish in there and there's a achievement that's Fisher of Woe, I think that
would be the best. Yes.
That would be pretty
Also,
good.
Ryalist says there was a skill in Guild Wars 1 called Verata's Gaze as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember, but I
mean-
played in the entire expansion and I forgot it. So I forgot that I did.
There is some lore associated in game with Isgarin,
Okay.
which I don't. So there's a mention of him in the Misrite Gambit. There's notes in there that you can find, and it mentions that he comes to the forge and that he throws something in, but no record is kept by the script because the script are bonkers.
Get the script involved.
Yeah, but so some script at some point have apparently interacted with Isgarin, and Garen the Wizard, not Isgarin, but Garen the Wizard created and constructed the observatory, the orrery in Divinity's Reach in the Palace Garden. And the other thing I think is just that anyone who tries to sneak up and sneak into the tower gets turned into an elemental. Pretty much.
Yeah.
I think. Am I missing anything?
No, that's pretty much it.
I think so. Okay.
Yeah. So, and okay.
Okay. Was there anything else there that was? I'm just reading a little bit. Wait, where did you get to, Crove?
I finished the Wizard's Tower section.
You did finish it completely. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering if there's anything else there we can quickly talk about. No, not really. Unless there's anything else.
No, but I'm moving my microphone here.
I'm excited to have just new enemies, I think, or enemies from the past like coming back with like remodeled, even if they're just like things we've not seen before. Like, and I'm hoping, what I hope from this expansion is the ability to reinvent some of the zones, or just start to I guess like World of Warcraft did with like models, character models and stuff, like start to see some of this stuff come through, like remodeling zones or remodeling characters or...
That would be nice. I think that's always like an ongoing discussion with live service games that, reach especially like the 10-year mark.
Yeah.
Guild Wars is a very particular art style, and it's lasted the test of time, but those earlier zones, are starting to feel, when you compare it to what they can do now.
I think World v World is the one where I'm like, that's the one the most. And some of those early Charles Ends as well.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
They talk about that the enemies that we'll be facing, the Kryptis. We've only been hinted at before. Do you think that they're talking about? Because I thought that they were talking about the creatures of the Bastion of the Penitent, creatures like Kanaxai, that kind of thing. Do you think that they're being that literal, or do you think that there's some hidden tome, some lore reference?
I think there's something else, because Kanaxai is a demon, right?
I also think that we can have this discussion during the Kryptis section.
Oh.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, fine.
Maybe.
Can we pin that?
Shut up now.
No shutting up. Can we have a mod pin that to the top of the chat? What was the question? Can you repeat the question?
Well,
something deeper.
They say that it literally in the blog post that was just written that that they've hinted at the enemies that we're going to be facing. So, I mean, they've revealed the Kryptis, but they've hinted at the enemies that we're facing. So I don't think that we're just going to be getting the Kryptis, I think. So I'm wondering...
something else.
So is it Kryptis or something else? Or something extra is the question.
And
is it
possibly
Kryptis and?
Else.
All right, is it Kryptis
Kryptis
and? I'll write it in the chat.
eye and the eye behind them.
And the eye of Zojja.
Zojja's eye.
I don't know.
Eyes, eyeballs. Too.
No. Okay. Someone can pin that. Because I'm not in the actual figure of them. Actually, can I?
Such a good call.
I warned chat that there were no balls in this episode. I said that.
There are no
Nobody
balls
listens.
in any episode ever again.
No
Actually,
balls.
well,
No balls.
no, that not specifically. Who's reading the commander?
Who wants
I mean,
to go?
I would, but I feel
Not
like you guys are against that idea.
No.
I'm against you, but not you reading.
You want flip flop boots?
You flippy
Sure.
floppies?
Sure, let's flip flop. Okay. But although we got Fornax here, who's like a commanding presence.
think
Would you
Fornax
like
wants
to,
to
Fornax? I mean, I kind of thought that, but if you would like to, you can.
Yeah. Use your
can, obviously.
commanding presence, Fornax, to
Commanding
talk about
shout.
the commander's journey.
You know, I really would, but being a dyslexic nab, I think I'll pass stumbling over
Fair
words
enough.
on live internet.
Oh,
but thank
okay,
you for the
fair enough,
invitation.
fair
I really
enough.
appreciate it.
Excellent.
All right, so the commander's journey. Given that Guild Wars 2 Secrets of the Obscure is going to be something of a fresh start for us as a narrative, I worked with Matthew Medina, the expansion's narrative design lead, to send the commander on a journey absent their usual comrades. Hey, Kroof! Is what you wanted.
Oh yeah, I was very confused why you're calling me out, but yeah.
Remember, like, I want to say it was like 2
when they
years
go
ago.
with Crew for groups in the game. Like, what did we? Where was this? Like,
Well, Kroof started talking about it, like, I think 2 years ago, saying
a while.
for you were hoping for End of Dragons, we'd get this kind of situation.
Well, you said that recently as well. Yeah. That's right. That's true.
We thought that this would make the story as exciting and bewildering to the commander as a character as it would be for the player. At the top of the story, a mission goes... I hate
Awry.
this word so much.
Awry.
I know it's awry, but every time I see it on paper, I always want to say oury.
Already. Yeah. Well, that's how I'd say it.
Yeah. Where are we? Oh, yeah. At the top of the story, a mission goes awry, and we're pulled into unexplored territory, physically and intellectually. By isolating the commander from their support group, and thus their typical problem-solving catalysts, Timey, we're able to completely immerse the player character in this darker, more mystical facet of Tyria, as the Astral Ward battles against the threat of the Kryptis.
Should we have a little bit of discussion about or maybe we should read it, or just in case they go for, I don't know. But like also Goric is like a big solver of the things. Goric's actually been solving most of the things more recently than Timey, maybe, actually.
I think just because he was there.
Yeah.
Because he was there. Okay. Fair enough.
But they do mention the cast in the next section.
Okay, all right. So let's keep going then.
More than that, the world state of Tyria is at such a critical turning point, with the threat of the Elder Dragons calmed by and our prismatic utility knife Aurene taking a good old nap somewhere secluded. All of our friends are busy with their new lives now, and some of them are playing crucial roles in rebuilding the world. Casimir and Jory, recently engaged, have established positions in the Crichton political system. Krisha and Ritlock are facing the Khan-Ur election, and heck, they've got a lot to cope with following the Icebrute saga. Timey is burrowed in June's lab, solving every crisis she possibly can with her Canthan inventors. Goric and Rama have the agency, and so Jory's not with the agency, I guess. Even though she was kind of okay.
I thought she would have been, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it started out being Goric hoping it would be all three of them, but then
Because it was us and them, right? Yeah.
And Jory's like, I want to go be with my wife.
Yeah, she's busy. And Bram is probably thriving in some much needed therapy.
Amazing.
All these
No mention of
characters-
rocks. I'm just gonna say.
Oh yeah, that's a very good
Sorry.
point.
Oh wow!
There has been no mention of
completely
rocks in a
denied.
little while, hasn't
Or,
there? Yeah.
or
The
the
most
fact that
forgettable character of Dragon's Watch.
or they're gonna be with us in the
Aw.
expansion.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
And also Frostbite. Jeez.
Oh, I like them.
Yeah.
I
All
like
these
them as a
characters have served as
character.
guiding lights to the commander, and they have shaped our journey.
Oh,
We're excited
wow,
to give
that's
you
like not
glimpses.
even mentioning rocks is just even worse there. Like,
Yeah.
they've shaped their
Yeah.
journey. Fuck rocks.
Well, also not Kanak. Kanak
Sorry,
isn't
what?
also mentioned either.
That's true.
A lot of a few characters
That's
I
true,
mentioned.
actually. Yeah, but like rocks is like central.
Was.
Oh, it's just part
Was.
of it. I guess.
Yeah. We're excited to give you glimpses into their post-dragon lives when we dig into those local stories about Tyria's revival. But before that, it's time the commander took a journey of their own. There is one exception to this rule, though. ... ellipses ... ellipses.
Okay. So what do we think about? We obviously know Zojja's coming back. What do you think about not the other like a bunch of older characters, or just the ones that have joined us for so long? Does this emphasize more the fact that this is a brand new adventure, a brand new journey, a new
Sure. Yeah.
well, it's not even a chapter, it's like a book. It's a brand new
It's an
start, right?
expansion, we'll might even call it.
Yeah, maybe an expansion.
I think the most glaring omission though is Farron is not in there.
Oh, our lovely Speedo fencing friend.
Yeah. If he's
Sword
not in the
Master.
expansion, I'll be very disappointed.
No, I have wanted this for quite some time. And I think ending a decade-long story with the Dragon Cycle, I think it's very important to revitalize that sense of wonder and journey, and like rekindling that hero's journey and that hero's tale, and removing the commander, the player character, from the core cast of characters removes that sense of familiarity, which can be very comforting and very useful for storytelling at times. But when you want to go off and do something new, sometimes you have to like leave your friends behind, leave your family behind, and come into a new era. And I think this is a perfect opportunity for Secrets of the Obscure to do that. So I'm
Also-
very happy with that.
I would
Okay,
also
yeah.
like to say that I think it allows the writers to have to be able to do things. Okay, so one of the issues with having our whole group of friends there is that they had to write for all the groups of they had to somehow try to include a lot of them in the storyline as we went along. That's one issue. So like
How weighty
kinda-
each one was, and fans of characters, etc.
yeah, it could kind of put a drag on the importance of what's happening in the story if you're going off and like
You
saying,
had a
"Oh, how do you
really-
feel about this?"
Yeah, you had a really good opportunity for a pun there.
Oh, I'm sorry. what did I
Could have
say?
drag on. I was like,
Oh,
Oh yeah.
That's
But
good.
then, on top of that, though, the fact that you had Taimi and Goric there, and possibly won't have them this time around. I feel like over the 10 years, Taimi and Goric have started to become a bit of not a crutch. That's a bad word for it, but like. Anytime we needed to figure something out, they would do it for us. Anytime we needed to have an explanation for something, or like a way to solve a mystery, a way to solve a problem, they would do it for us.
yeah.
they were very
So-
convenient to have around.
Exactly.
Deus
And
ex
Aureen
machina.
as well. Aureen is hyper powerful, and with her gone, this is also good in that it makes it more likely that they could write a more realistic story and a realistic resolution to the story than what we're given previously with these people just fixing things for us.
We're coming up with the resources and the ways, the manners of doing them, and then us just going and doing it, which was basically most of the story.
Do you think that they'll return to, because so if you remember back to the personal story when we're building up the pact,
Yeah.
and it's more of a logical progression as we gather our allies, build our resources, and slowly, methodically, and in a reasonable capacity that you could logically like overlay onto real life in terms of like progression. We face the dragon down and we chip away at him until we come to the final battle, which they really need to redo. But do you think that we'll be returning to that rather than the Deus Ex Machina of, for example, the Heart of Thorns last instance, where we suddenly decide that we're going to jump in and battle the dragon aspect of mind in his own mind, and somehow that's how we're going to defeat him, rather than having kind of a reasoned, logical strategy as a thinking person, I want to say, or rather than, as you say, using the Asuras as an intellectual crutch to kind of reducing the commander to commander smash type paradigm, which I never really kind of liked.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know.
So do you think that we're going to have a more reasoned, logical, or do you think that someone will just ascend to that position?
That's my hope. And I think it's not only that the people writing could have the commander use those characters as a crutch to just resolve issues, but I think it's also a detriment to the writers, because I have a feeling that a lot of times when they're working out how things worked in the storyline, they get to a point where they're like, okay, so now let's think of a good resolution for this, and then they just go, oh well, why can't Taimi just? I mean, Taimi's done all these things in the past. Why can't she just do it again this time?
Yeah.
And probably they don't want to have to do that, but it's just the most logical thing to happen because Taimi is that smart. So without Taimi there,
he's a prodigy.
They could come up with better.
The only other instance where we had more of that logical build-up, where they could have come up with a resolution that wasn't just, oh, Aurene handled it or Taimi handled it, or Aurene empowered you to such a degree, was probably Heart of Thorns, as you were mentioning, Fornax, where it felt like it was out of left field, that it was like, oh, I guess we can now enter the dream and deal with it that way. So there was that opportunity. Unfortunately, I don't think it resolved in a fairly logical and or satisfying way. So this is another opportunity for them to really practice nailing that down, where it is a completely fresh slate, and especially within this bubble of this new format where it is going to be relatively quickly handled, I should say. It's not going to be a 10-year story arc. I hope it's at least satisfying and we have a journey that we have to take, and we are met with conflict that we cannot just easily overwrite with something like Aurene or Taimi or Goric.
Now, that isn't to say that we might still have that issue coming up, because we are the next section is talking about Zojja. Zojja is another Asura who's very intelligent, and there is possibly Isgaren or some other very powerful being there that could do an Aurene replacement, maybe. So, there are pitfalls that we might still come across. And so even though I think, I agree with you, Fornax, I think it would be nice to have that more grounded, realistic resolution to problems. It'll be hard to do it in a magical world, because in magical worlds, there are easy solutions sometimes.
I'm okay with magical solutions as long as they are built up to a satisfactory ending. Yeah. Jumping from like 1 to 100 really fast, where it can kind of feel like whiplash almost, where you're like, Heart of Thorns, you're like, I don't even know that this was going to happen. Like, there was no setup for this. As long as there's setup and then there's that payoff, I think it'll feel okay.
Yeah. I just worry about the feeling of player agency and presence in the story. I mean, I think it's a wise thing to bench them, at least for a while. I would be very happy to go and explore the Kano elections and the consequences for Tyria in an expansion of itself. I would be happy to dive into the politics of Kryta and the speculation around Jenna being Lissa and the whole kit and... I mean, there's so many narrative threads that they want to pull, but I just want to feel like I'm the lead character in this MMO, And I feel like we don't often get to experience that. I think, for example, the last instance in the end of Dragon's story, you feel like the chosen one. You do. You feel you have more of that feeling of being the chosen. And I feel like they need to lean into that more. That's something that Final Fantasy 14 does exceptionally well. You have your own theme song. You are badass. No one understands why you're so badass, but you feel it. And it's a nice feeling, you know? I just wish, for example, I don't know. I just wish that I just hope that we don't run into that wall like we did in Heart of Thorns. I don't know why they didn't bring it back the Pale Tree to stand against him, to be that bridge into his mind, a logical person, bridge the gap so that we didn't have this jarring moment at the end. And I guess that you run into where the story meets the financing and the timing and the studio and the scheduling and everything like that. I hope now that they have this longer term plan that we don't run into these jarring story cliffs.
Well, honestly, I agree with you, but I think we might still do that because before I left on vacation, I think we had a discussion about the blog post that they did where they explained how the story is structured for the new expansion, and that is there's a complete story told on the initial release,
and then there's a side additional
and then one or two additional stories in the releases afterwards, and they're expanding on it, but the first initial release is a full story,
like the expansion is now. Well, has been like it's its own story, and then Living World was just an addition or
right,
a branch,
but like in our previous expansions, it took a while to work on them, longer than they've been given for this new expansion, because this new expansion is a year cadence, while the previous expansions were more amount of development time.
Is that what they really are doing? Yeah, that's what they're doing. Brimstone, sorry. Yeah, I mean, it's I like to think of the story as just basically kind of Living World packed into one expansion, and then just a couple of episodes after that with just side story. And it's like I'm not expecting these things to be as long as the last expansion stories at all. I don't think that's doable. Also,
I don't expect that either. But that's why I'm saying I think there is still the possibility of story cliffs that because it's packed into a small package.
Well, I mean, I'll give you an example of a game. I'm going to go for Elder Scrolls Online again because they do it very well. Every single year they have a different chapter which comes out. They don't call it an expansion because it's just a chapter, and you can go into that chapter when you start the game. You don't even have to. You just do a tutorial and then you pick a portal to go for it as long as you own it. That chapter is its own closed-off storyline and often doesn't bring back many main characters at all. Like, they might bring back a character from like the original companions that they had in the base game story, for example, or like small kind of side characters and stuff, and you'd be like, oh yeah, there was this character that I was with in this random delve 8 years ago, and they're here now as a main character in the story, and they do it very well. It is every year as well, every single year, and the story is always very good. Like, the story is just quality. And I know Skyrim, like, they've got a lot of back story, they've got a lot to pull from, there's a lot more money at ZeniMax, but it's definitely doable. I think we're gonna see a different arena there with this. I do. I think maybe that's the hope, but like I actually think with like this big change and how all the changes they've talked about, I think they're going to be doing things differently. I'm looking forward to see how they tackle it. Right? I mean, they like you say, they have to really, but like, I'm just hoping that transition, hopefully from. I don't know. I'm hopeful. Hopefully. But do you want to talk about?
You're hopefully hopeful.
I'm hopefully hopeful. I mean, there is so many. I was thinking about the main story, the original story, which I actually enjoy. And I did like not being the main hero in that to a degree. Like, I mean, I still was, but there was also, Traherne as well. And I liked the story pacing to a degree, personally. The pacing was fine. There were just elements of it, right? That we were just like, not great. Like the last fight, for example. But generally, I love the transition from your own involvement within, like, as an Asura, like Zojja was there, I was learning from other people, I was very much in my own culture, and then I went out into the world. Like, I love that transition and the different choices I had. I actually want to go back to the choices part and have that be a little bit more involved. Not everywhere, but like just here and there, it'd be quite nice. I like that. I did love that transition from that story to the main overarching story of what we had in the end. So it was, I don't know, I think there's loads of opportunities. I think there's great points within Guild Wars 2 where we've been like, wow, this story is amazing, this is so good, like Krakotoric, and Dragonfall, like as a map, like that whole process was just sick. I love that was so good. I'm excited. I'm just talking generally now, there's no point to this. I mean, I'm just like remembering all the story bits and stuff where I'm like, oh man, that was so good. And like I still remember like one of the most pinnacle, it's not even that big, but the sniper shot to what's his name, the Char. Like that shot, like I will always remember that for some reason. Like, and there's just really, really random parts of Guild Wars 2 story where I'm like, damn, that was cool. So I'm excited. Let's look, and the reason I'm excited is also because we're going to move on to talk about Zojja. That was my idea, to talk about the main story and talking about Zojja.
That was a smooth transition. Smooth.
Yeah.
Smooth.
That's what I'm talking about. That was the idea. It's like I host podcasts or something.
Maybe.
I'm not here for massive information about lore because I'm actually learning from all of you. I'm about transitioning and keeping us on track and adding random comments every so often.
Your segues are masterful.
A segue.
So yes, Zojja. There is one exception to this rule, though. Zojja. Zojja is a character who has been mysteriously AWOL since the events of Guild Wars 2 Heart of Thorns, where she endured some pretty awful injuries after being trapped inside of that blighting pod. While I don't want to spoil her journey, I can say that it was an emotional one. We have years of lost ground to cover, and our favorite Golemancer has been doing some serious soul-searching. Like the commander will have in Guild Wars 2 Secrets of the Obscure, Zojja needed a journey of her own. I'll keep that story under my hat for now. Getting to explore the depths of Zojja's self-discovery was a delight. In the middle of our fight against the Kryptis, we're going to have some incredibly tender and vulnerable moments with our Asuran ally.
I'm going to hold maybe the Zojja conversation a little bit until we do the article, because I feel like we're just going to be talking about Zojja for ages, unless anyone wants to mention about this now. First of all, cool. Yes. Zojja, wicked, Felicia Dayback. I'm sold. Give me that expansion today.
You want to continue, Groove? Because that was pretty small.
I can do the Kryptis.
Yeah.
The Kryptis. The Kryptis are one of the meteor enemies we fought to date. Finding a new enemy force that touched on past lore, but was also fresh and exciting to long-term players, was a significant goal of ours, and a very interesting challenge from a world-building perspective. Creatures of the Demon Realm. It's been a hot minute since we faced off against foes from across the mists. With the exception of a few Kryptis that have wiggled their way through Tyria's back door in the past, we haven't spent a lot of time with these guys before. I agree. They're fleshy, they're horrifying, and they're eager to take us out. Not on a date, apparently. But they've not necessarily this one is important. But they're not necessarily a world-ending threat, per se, as menacing as they are. We just got done with the Elder Dragons, after all. As you dive into Guild Wars 2 Secrets of the Obscure and fight back against the Kryptis, you'll unravel a much more personal rivalry between some of our key players, one that has lasted for over a millennium. Better yet, after we've completed the first leg of the story high above the cloud cover of Tyria, we're going to continue this journey in a much more curious environment.
So do you think the personal rivalry is Balthazar and Mingus?
Oh, could be. I was expecting something more along the lines of like, is Garen and the enemy,
In the end,
or like a
Yeah, that's fair,
character
too.
that we have that is currently alive, so that that tension can build, and it's not just like, oh, Balthazar's dead.
You're dead. It's all fine now. Yeah. Okay, I like that too.
For next, do you have thoughts? You want-
I think, yeah, I mean, so if it is the Fissure of Woe and we are getting Menzies is the eye, he allied himself with Doom. He allied himself with Abaddon, as we've spoken about before. He is the head of the Shadow Army. This is all kind of, the ducks are all lining up.
Except,
Go on.
it says creatures of the demon realm.
Yeah.
And is Fissure of Woe really the demon realm? Or is that the realm of torment?
I'm not sure.
Can
But-
they be both?
Why not both?
Well, I mean, I think that I think the catalyst.
Sorry.
I think the catalyst is the fact that the realms have been discombobulated by Crocotoric, right? He was literally consuming. We've got mist realms falling out of the sky into Tyria. So,
But not only
or
that,
portions
but
of
also
them.
just the gods leaving their realms have them getting destroyed, have them falling apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Balthazar is literally dead. His energy has been consumed.
Yeah. But I assume that Mingus took over at that point, right? Like Mingus's energy kept the Fissure of Woe together after Balthazar was imprisoned. Most likely.
I mean, you would imagine.
Yeah.
You would imagine that he took advantage of the.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like rivalry is conflict between peers. I don't think it's necessarily describing a conflict between enemy
Enemies.
factions.
Yeah, that's a different kind
So-
of rivalry, like you say. You can have a rivalry, against peers. Yeah, peers.
But they did.
not
But they
necessarily
call it a
friends,
very.
no.
They call it a very personal rivalry, though. Which is what made me think of the brothers.
Yeah,
Mm.
it makes sense.
Could be. I just don't know how that would feel, like how that would have the payoff within the bounds of the expansion. Granted, we don't know all of the characters that we're going to be interacting with, but just the line is like, as you dive deeper into the expansion, you'll begin to realize maybe personal rivalries that we had no idea about, or the whole purpose of the Astral Ward, and if there are deeper connections, because that's always a nice payoff when you're like, oh, they actually were like really good pals, and then someone went awry, and then you have to fight your past lover or your past friend or whatever.
Yeah, I wonder though. Okay, so let's say it has nothing to do with the rivalry between Mingus and Balthazar. Let's say that's off track. It's not even Mingus. It's demons from the realm of torment, or some other realm, just the demon realm. And it is the rivalry between Isgaren and some other force of evil. Would that be something that you're excited about, or is that slightly disappointing if you learn that the Wizard's Tower's entire purpose and Isgaren's entire purpose is just to combat this world-ending evil, this other dude who's a demon and sends demons into this world?
I think that would be satisfactory.
You don't have, not every storyline has to be about world and the world.
No, sure, but like the Wizard's Tower feels like more than that, though.
Felt like a literal, like, kind of, if this is gone, the whole world is going to end kind of thing.
No.
Or like it was a
No, but I
barrier
thought-
or like a door
Yeah,
into
like
another.
astral world. A word sounds like a defense system to more than just little demons coming in.
I mean, isn't that like an invade? But it's an invasion, right? I mean, if they're invading, then it's fairly like worrisome.
invaders.
And I think they're very smart to directly say that this is not a world-ending threat on the scale
Yes.
of like a mass invasion force that will wipe out Tyria. It does seem to be a bit more localized in terms of, what the Wizard's Tower is there for and what the Astral Ward's mission is.
Right.
To kind of bring down that expectation of a world-ending threat like the Dragon Cycle so that they can continue to do these more isolated stories. So we're not always just chasing that, juicier, bigger moment.
You know what? A good, in my mind is a good like middle ground that would be really interesting, lore-wise and story-wise for Tyria, is that Tyria, created by the dragons, created by Suwan, exists as a the way I think of it in my mind, the world of Tyria and the world of like the beyond Tyria is a world of pure magic and space. And Tyria was formed by Suwan as a sort of like a fight against entropy, a fight against chaos. It created order. And Tyria itself is like a bastion of order in a field of the mists, which the further out you go, just becomes more and more chaotic. And the void kind of represents that chaos, which is what everything is outside of Tyria, except for other places where, similarly to Suwan creating Tyria, other entities created their own worlds. Like that's where the human gods came from. They came from another world that was created as a bastion against the mists, against the chaos all around them. But that world, I guess, got destroyed in some way, and so the human gods came here to find another place that is not as chaotic. And
I'll be right back in like 2 minutes. Okay, I've got to
possibly
answer my phone. Keep going.
Possibly the wizard Garen is aware of this situation, the Eternal Alchemy, aware of what's happening, aware of what's beyond Tyria, and is protecting Tyria from the chaos, the chaotic entities. Like we saw that people can get turned into demons by being exposed to too much chaos magic, essentially. So possibly just out there is where the demons reside, and they're trying to make their way in. And so it's protecting against those things. So in my mind, that's important, but not world-ending. But it reveals a more interesting thing going forward in that what's beyond Tyria.
So how in an ocean of entropy, without a fundamental underlying kind of structure and ordering of things in an automated sense, like we have gravity in our existence. How did these bastions of
Suwan described
order
it
arise?
Suwan described what she did.
No. I mean, in the vaguest terms possible.
Exactly, as vague as possible. But I think because it's
Which is probably why I think they're not going to go that high level, because it's like, these are very difficult questions to answer.
For some reason, I feel like this universe is just like in our world. Earth and solar systems is formed of gaseous clouds that condense into physical things, and in their world it's gaseous magic that condense into physical things. Anyway,
I would like a cosmology. I would like a Carl Sagan-esque cosmology for a proper creation story, and to understand where I was not satisfied with what we got. It was the clip notes abridged, a nice story about her somehow. There's no who created the thing. The problem with the God created everything is who created God, right? That's where we are with this story. Is that
the answer?
How
of
did she
it
come
just
to
always was must suffice.
Oh no, I don't like no. Boo.
Yeah. Anyway, Tyria is the dragon world, and there are lots of other worlds out there, but created by different entities that just happen to be.
And the Kryptis are knocking on our door, they slipped through our back door.
Yeah.
And they said,
they wiggled their way.
they wiggled their way through our back door, and they're here to take us out. So really rude, but I'm extremely excited to see something different, to see something that is wild and juxtaposes and contrasts Guild Wars 2's saturated and vibrant aesthetic. I like the concept art that we've seen, and the snippets that we have seen from blog posts of in-game shots have been interesting, but they're always like looking at the Kryptis from behind, and I just want to see like a good good full frontal, you know. I want a good full frontal.
I mean, this is a crypt. This is a front. This is not.
But
from
it's
behind.
concept art. But it's concept art.
Fornax, just to continue with what I was saying, there is evidence for what I'm saying in Tyrian lore, in that the god realms are essentially realms created and held together by these entities that are the gods, creating order out of the chaos because they have the power to do so. So I think that could just be expanded upon, and that's just what the world is. That's what all the worlds are in Tyria.
I just want to understand the mechanism by which they can do that. I mean, is there a prime mover? That's what I want to know. That's a good
question. That's a very good question.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
I mean, I do have a theory, my kind of theory as to what the tower is, who and why it was put there. I have my own kind of headcanon that of what I think it is. If anyone wants to,
yeah, go for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that the tower was placed there when the gods arrived, when the human gods arrived on Tyria. I think it's the guard at the gate that whatever drove humanity from their realm. I think it might be the Kryptis or whoever is driving this horde of demons to assault. So they put the guard on the gate. They locked down the planet. They exodused all that they could to safety, and they made this place a bastion. They didn't realize that the place that they'd run to was already inhabited. It already had some rather aggro landlords. But this was the safest place that they could find. And Kraukatoric has disrupted the order. He's broken the protections that were placed on it when they arrived, and now we're dealing with the consequences. And I think that we might find ourselves on the original home world, or what's left of the original home world of the humans after this demon invasion. So we get to see what could be the consequences if we don't thwart them.
That would be awesome.
Oh, that sounds like a great idea.
That would be equally interesting to me as to what I was talking about.
And they do mention that with the, of course, the concepts of teleportation and mist traversal with like demons coming to us, we can go through to different realms. The mention at the very end says going to continue this journey in a much more curious environment, which has that element of like, oh, this is what might happen if you don't protect your place. And this is, you got to go to the source and kill it or whatever. I don't know.
Which is why I said it was good news for you, because this does sound like we are going to go to another extraordinary realm, be it the home of the humans or the home of the Kryptis or the Fissure of Woe under Magnus, or maybe because you have to remember that he allied with Doom and with Abaddon. So if there's anything left of Doom, if there's anything left of Abaddon, any aspects of them that have been sheared off, think of them as Horcruxes, although I, should be excommunicated for referencing that.
Doom just
it
keeps
might
on
be
going
there.
to sleep, right? Doom's still around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just keep thinking back to Balthazar, stripped of his powers, chained somewhere. They couldn't kill him, or they didn't want to kill him. Maybe there's a reason that they can't end his existence because of his attachment to this power, which also kind of circles back to what you were saying. So human beings exposed to demonic energy become demons. Human beings exposed to draconic energy take on the aspect of the dragons. Human beings exposed to divine energy become the human gods. We see this in Cormier, right?
So human beings
Oh my
exposed to
God.
meat energy become Kryptis.
Yep.
Too much
Oh my God,
meat
it's
energy.
the Borg. Are the Borg coming? Oh my God. This is going to be amazing. I love this. This is really, really great. Well, I mean, I just had an idea there as well. Like, they're talking about Tyria and whatnot and revisiting some of these places. I'm just wondering about, like, demon versions of some of these maps, maybe. Like, if we're going into the mists and whatnot, and we're going to where they come from. Wondering, like, about different versions of these maps and what they might look like if they were infested with, like, you know, just got the Kryptis hanging out, living there, you know, and that kind of thing. We have to go to their realm to do something to, like, block off this way to our world. And do you know what I mean? I don't know. Those are a random thought I had.
Mm.
Be fun.
I
And
mean,
we'll find out August 22nd.
Bruce has
True.
thoughts and feelings.
Well, I mean, they did say that we're going to be experiencing demon incursions across the planet. So this is not just on the archipelago above the sky in the kind of reflected Tyria.
Yeah.
So that could have interesting content, and that could be perhaps the catalyst for the revival and rejuvenation. I think they said rejuvenation in this article of Tyria, so that we could see that kind of renewing of the older areas. They kind of transition, maybe.
Maybe a new world boss, Kryptis.
I mean, they could have some
Well,
strike.
there are interesting developments with how these gameplay systems might turn out in recent blog posts and videos revealed with behind the voices featuring Felicia Day.
Oh, do we have to go forward in our readings of what we're doing today then?
I mean, we can. It's a very good conversation to have, though. I mean, I'm really excited for this really dark. Like, we went on this. Sorry, I got something on my eye. We got something in. We really went a bit darker with the recent story, right? Up post Ender Dragons, and it was also just about the mental health aspect, and that is actually continuing. That theme is continuing. So we will start to go over towards the other article actually fairly shortly. So there is the darker side coming out, and I think the demons and the Kryptis and everything else are very symbolic of mental health journeys as well. So I think that theme is going to cross over a lot, because when we go to the article, you'll probably see more so what I'm talking about, because, you know, Zojja's had quite the journey from Heart of Thorns, and we're going to find out more about that, which I'm very excited about. Does someone want to read this Tyria continued bit, and then we can go to the screen?
Sure, I'll get through it fast. Tyria continued. Guild Wars 2 Secrets of the Obscure will set the pace as Tyria looks to the future. There are whole facets of the world that have yet to be explored, much like the Wizard's Tower and the Fractured Archipelago that we'll be ascending to in just a few weeks. Beyond that, Tyria has a lot of healing to do. The Sylvari need to recover from the events following Guild Wars 2 Heart of Thorns. It's been a while, but they still haven't recovered. The Char and Norn are
It's
on
only
the men
been like 8 years. I mean, it's not long.
The Char and Norn are on the men following the Icebrood saga, and some people are also on the men following it as well. Cantha has been revealed to the world. Heck, the pact needs a new purpose, and we're about to meet the Astral Ward. Tyria is at a turning point. But before Tyria can truly heal, we're going to take you on a cosmic journey. Ooh,
Yeah.
a cosmic journey.
I read that. I was like, ooh,
That's space, guys. From one player who spent thousands of hours digging into Guild Wars 2 and Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2 to our community, we're excited to open a new door. And do you think they're referencing that door in the trailer, the space door?
I think they're referencing the legendary Wendy Williams Masked Singer song. No one opens the door for a native New Yorker.
Okay, so they're not representing. They're not referencing the door that the back door that the.
No, Boots. Jesus.
Remember your safe word, kids. No.
They said,
Oh my
Hello?
God. Okay.
open up, please.
We are going over to now. The first look at Felicia's Day Guild was to return as Zojja to as they come into the expansion. Is there anything else in that last bit where just like, oh, cool, that you want to quickly talk about, or was that kind of like, yeah, well, you know, it's just a good roundup. Nice, love it.
I think they're just reiterating future stories that we're going to see. Something that is more based in Tyria. The Tales of Tyria.
Okay, sounds good.
I mean, I will say that they've confirmed that at some point, Oreed is coming back. Her temporary departure, and they've kind of laid the groundwork if they want to go to another Char storyline with the Carno, Crichton politics,
The Omicron.
Cantha opening up, and its interactions, and perhaps even, you know, I mean, fingers crossed, the Tengu at some point. So you know,
Yeah.
they've left the door open so
They've
that they
got
have
stuff
as
up
many
their
options as
sleeves.
possible. They do, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So this article was an interview with, it wasn't with Felicia Day, but it was with Bobby Stein.
Zojja. It was with Zojja.
And
With Zojja.
Indigo as well from Arenanet. And it gives some just extra bits of info. We'll watch that video as well in a bit, which is the Countdown to Guild Wars 2 with Felicia Day, which was very, very cool. We're not going to read through the entire article, but there's some bits and bobs in here, which, have you all read it?
No.
Yes, I'd say about 90% of it.
Okay. Crown Herald? Did you read
Nope.
it? Didn't read it. Okay, so
I
I'm
mean,
going to pull
I
out
read
some.
Did
some
you
of the
read
bits
it,
that you
Jebro?
posted.
I
Yeah.
read some of the bits I posted. Yeah,
Wow.
so there was like...
I come to class prepared. This is
fine.
This is what I have to deal with.
But basically, it's a really, really good, solid article. I would say, I'm going to post it in the comments in the YouTube video, but I would say if you have not read this article yet, go to screenrant.com and read it, because it's just very good. Actually, I'm going to throw up this trailer very quickly, I think, as well. Throw what? Don't throw up? Wait, what?
Not on screen.
Why am I going to throw up? I'm not throwing up. Don't.
Out of excitement for the new expansion.
Ah.
Oh, I had too much sugar.
Okay.
Oh my god, Weapon Mastery Ultimate Tier List featuring our lovely friend Boots.
No,
Wow.
we're doing this first.
Here we go.
Is this the 1-minute version?
Kick it off.
Yes. What was the other
There's
version?
a longer 2-minute version on the official Guild Wars 2
Oh, okay.
YouTube channel
I'll go and grab that.
with more in-game footage that was not shown in this one.
Aha.
Oh.
It's on the. It'll be on the Guild Wars 2 YouTube as well, I'm assuming. Okay. Ah, there we go. That's right there. 2 minutes 53 seconds. Yeah, let's watch this. Let's watch this for a second. Don't worry. Okay, I'm gonna play this. You're not gonna hear it on the here, because obviously you can't. So if you need to go and watch it, go and check out the stream while we're doing this. But we're just gonna put this on for 3 minutes, and we're gonna see it's Felicia Day in Guild Wars 2: Secrets of the Obscure. It's a big return. If you are a newer player and you don't know who Felicia Day is, where have you been? That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, I'm gonna play.
Here we go. Whenever you're ready, kick it off.
Everything is going to change again. But I think I'm okay with that. I was so excited to return as Zojja. It's been, I think, almost 10 years. And over the years, I've had so many fans approach me. Where is Zojja? Where is Zojja?
I need to focus. Keep the big one off me, and I'll finish the spell.
It's really wonderful to see the transformation from Zojja in previous times as opposed to now, because she's really come quite a long way. She's been through a lot. She was more of a tech person. She was a Gollemancer, and now we're diving into this world of magic, which is really fun to discover the side of her. I love Zojja's sense of humor. I love the fact that she's kind of prickly, but has a lot of love underneath all that prickle. And I also love that she carries the memory of people really strong in her heart. I definitely dig deep to try to find the similarities in me and the characters. I think I'm definitely kind of snarky, although she's a little bit more confident in her snarkiness.
Little hard to concentrate with catapults lobbing stones at my face. Deal with them.
I'm a little bit less so confident as a person, and this new arc of Zojja's is really lovely to play because she does have this self-doubt in trying to enter this new world as an elementalist.
So there's going to be a moment of a sigh where you get even more intimate.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's a little too urgent. Okay, great.
I started out as an actor, and I was kind of frustrated with that, so I started writing and producing things for the internet. It was interesting and great, but I definitely feel really secure in what I've been doing the last couple of years, bringing characters to life, creating characters, and just making stories. I certainly have had some really fun blooper moments. I wish they could kind of cut together some of the horrible pronunciations I have done. There was a word, cortege. I don't even know what this word was that they wrote me, but I messed it up a lot.
Protege. We're still caught up on this word.
I received a piece of advice from my acting teacher, Iris Klein, and she told me, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. I literally will sit there in the bathroom and look over and the toilet roll will be empty. I'm like, I don't want to replace that. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And I replaced that toilet roll. Over the years, I definitely have learned a lot about myself, realizing that a lot of the things that were taking my time up weren't really that satisfying. It was just way better to be with the people I love and doing the things that I really absolutely love.
What the Who was that?
That's gonna be exciting. Really good piece. Like, that was just like, hi, Guild Wars 2. Can you give us some more of that stuff, please? To so expansion. I think out of anything so far that has been dropped regarding Secrets of the Obscure in Guild Wars 2, this is probably one of the biggest things they've dropped, even over maybe announcing the expansion itself. Because the amount of people this would have hit, because Felicia Day tweets it out to the 1 to however million followers she has, and then she's got 1 million followers on Instagram and stuff. I'm like, do you know what I mean? It's probably been the most amount of information we've learned about the expansion. Other people, sorry, not us
and
specifically.
It's vital to get even a little bit more insight into the characters that we are going to be with in the expansion. And even though we know I even hesitate to say that we know who Zojja is. We knew Zojja, but so much time has passed to the point where she might be a familiar face, but a completely different person in how she is conducting herself, her overall goals, and her attitude.
She's an elementalist now.
And I thought that was actually really interesting to dive into a character change, that she always was an elementalist, but I felt like her focus was on her gallimancy with Mr. Sparkles. But now, going back into the motifs of this expansion, more magic focused, I was really pleased to see them focus in on who Zojja is in terms of combat as an elementalist. And I was like, I'd love to get more of that and more story in regards to the professions and the systems within the world.
But now, where's Mr. Sparkles?
I was wondering that if we'd see a reprisal of Mr. Sparkles 2.0, but I don't think we will. I don't know.
I would be hesitant to say that is unfortunately not something we will see, maybe. Oh, you never know. Okay, so just checking to see if we're still viewable on the screen as well.
But
sure.
There is a slide within that they show, and technically it is released to the public, even though they kind of tried to blur out parts of it. But it has to do with the Heart of the Obscure.
Oh.
And the potential gameplay implications of the Heart of the Obscure, in terms of it being used as a system that leads you to opening and closing certain rifts in the world.
Oh yeah, that's what we were thinking about,
and
right?
potentially being some sort of a revamped bounty system that people have taken to the Reddit.
Is it
and
like
shown
Rift?
off.
Is it like Rift?
Potentially. I mean, we have like the rift stalkers. Like during season 4, there were rifts that opened up, and we go and close the rifts in an instance.
Right.
They could take a part of that system and utilize it in this context.
Yeah, based on the blog post that we got about it, I think that's what we were kind of assuming it was, right?
Yeah.
We were talking about
Yes.
invasions and stuff.
But
yeah.
the specific wording, which did make it out, even though they blurred it, they did specifically mention a revamp bounty system.
Okay, good.
Nice. Okay, cool. Exciting. Okay, I'm going to pick out some bits from the pause. I'm going to explode our faces onto the screen a little bit more so I can actually read these bits on pieces off of the article. Okay, so this was an interview with Bobby Stein and Indigo. They discussed Zojja's return to Guild Wars 2, working with the actress again after so many years. 10 years. Wow. And what players can expect from the expansion. So, Felicia Day's character Zojja returns almost a decade with a more evolved and matured personality. Of course, over 10 years, you'd expect some growth, hopefully. Players will explore new maps and defend Tyria against the demonic cryptids in the upcoming expansion. The expansion introduces a meaningful and emotional story that delves into Zojja's growth and struggles, providing a relatable experience for players. Aha! That is a long time. They've got a lot to explain in that period of time.
Well, not really. If she was up here on
No?
in the castle the whole time, if she was in the wizard's tower the whole time, that's not too hard to explain, right? I was up here the whole time. That's why you couldn't see me.
But then you go into why.
The whys.
How did you come to this? Why did you come to this? When? The who, what,
Sure,
when, where,
yeah.
why, how.
Yeah. That'll take a few minutes to explain, yeah.
A few minutes. Like, this is happening over the course of the expansion. This is a big deal. Okay, so I'm going to read some little bits. I didn't write who said what here, but they're quotes from Bobby and Indigo. Actually, I did later on, so I did a little bit better. When we finally had that story with Zojja, it was incredibly exciting. Some of the growth that Zojja has experienced would not have been possible without stepping away for a bit to find her own footing. And while the Zojja we met during Secrets of the Obscure is the same character, our community remembers and loves from the past, she's grown a lot. So just talking about the growth. Felicia has also experienced a lot of growth between now and then, and a lot of the threads we explore truly resonated with her, and she brought that growth straight into her performance as well, which is very cool. I love that. I love it. Okay, so are there any scenes that stand out? This is the question Screenrant asked to Bobby and Indigo. Are there any scenes that stand out to you as especially difficult or rewarding to get right in the booth? And then Bobby said, 2 come to mind, and wouldn't be surprised if Indigo was thinking of them too. The first is a moment where Zojja and a friend process some grief together. Whether or not that's us or not, I don't know. It was beautifully animated by our cinematic team and shows her character at a low point in the story where she opens up a little bit. Still a bit guarded as the emotions are very raw, but you start to see a different side of Zojja than before. She's definitely a closed-off type of character, but there's a lot going on behind those eyes in that moment. Felicia brought her A-game to the scene. So I think I've just kind of highlighted some mental health stuff, I guess, here. But again, thinking about where they left off with the last story we had, there was a lot of themes in that as well, which was very, very good. Something interesting Bobby said as well was that he said, while I'm proud of what the teams have done with the launch up through End of Dragons, I'm happy to close that chapter on the game. I think they really did get to the point where they were like, I think we're done. When are we going to be done? Can we just be done now?
I think anyone would, especially people who have stayed on the production of Guild Wars 2 since the beginning.
Yeah, there's not many.
Beyond that.
Is there that many? Bobby's been there from Guild Wars, obviously. Like Colin's come back.
Yeah, Matthew's gone and come back.
Yeah. Who else has been? I mean, there's names we probably don't remember off the top of our heads, but yeah, I bet that was. I bet this is a really, really exciting time for them. Okay. We wanted to make sure that we could do Zojja justice and give non-Asura player characters a chance to spend time with her. Don't forget that they really haven't. Like, if you're not an Asura, you haven't really encountered Zojja, and so you've got to come up with a good crossover and a good amount of getting to know them, I would say. Get to know her on a deeper level than before, and seeing how Miss Day's life has advanced over the years, running
That's
multiple
true. If you're not
businesses,
an
etc.
Asura, your experience with Zojja is in the the middle levels cutscenes when with Destiny's Edge, where I'm pretty sure Zojja was just kind of really not nice to the rest of Destiny's Edge in those cutscenes.
Yeah.
So I think if you're not an Asura, you kind of get the kind of the meaner side of Zojja for most of it.
True. Like the typical kind of mentor Asura attitude, you know, what was his name? I can't remember. Well, the reason why I think she's also quite angry and like that is because she actually, and here we go, here comes the mental health analyzer. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so she doesn't want to form close attachments to anyone at all because
there's
of fear
that,
of
and also
losing
she
them.
has resentment towards Logan, especially
For sure.
Due to what happened in the first face-off with Kralkatorrik. There's going to be a lot to deal with in this expansion for Zojja. Just for maybe when we get there and we greet her, that'll be her first time learning about Kralkatorrik's going away. But I don't know, maybe not, because maybe the Wizard's Tower has tabs on everything going on.
I love that response in chat. Mofongo Jones. To be fair, many in the community could use the mean yelling hats. I probably agree with you in some respects there. Oh, that's funny. Good point. Yeah, boots indeed. Is anyone else any other thoughts about kind of what's saying about Zojja and their journey? And just, I'm going to continue a little bit on here, but not too much.
I mean, so her kind of central pillar throughout the part of the personal story that she inhabits for all players is anger and resentment, and she is deep in her grief.
Yeah.
And she is unrelenting in it. And it makes and grief, people deal with grief differently. We've run into it in this aspect with I think 3 characters. We have Bram, who became embittered and angry and blaming us for the death of his mother.
Yeah.
And then we had Zojja, who I think primarily, I think she was angry with Logan, but I think I seem to remember her being specifically paired up with Air, and her ire being towards Air, the great planner who continued into the battle after Logan left, and that was why he thought that she lost her mentor. And then we have Kaith, and her grief is twisted with shame and remorse and regret, because she was responsible for her own grief because she ended the life of her sister, and she did the entirely basically detach. She detached herself from everything around her other than her duty, and you can see that in her isolation. And I wonder, for us, the player, we only know Zojja in that moment of anger and grief. Will we have some sort of conclusory conversations? Will we be privy to her evolution and her thoughts on the passing of Air? Because we never got to see what she thought about.
I hope so. Yeah, I think we should. I think that's what they're trying to get at with these in these what they're saying about Zojja, right? They're trying to say that there's a lot of things to resolve about her feelings and what she's been doing all this time. I don't think it's really going to be touching upon what she's been doing all this time. That could be explained pretty quickly. It's what's been going on without her and how she has to deal with it all.
I mean, there's They do say that they will be talking about that, yeah, about what she's been doing.
No, I know, but I don't think that's the important part.
Yeah, what she is doing can also be told naturally through the environmental storytelling of like events and all that stuff. But in terms of character development, I think who she has become through the passing of time is really going to be the most, at least for me, one of the most important elements
I think so as
of her character.
So you all think that she has been a member of perhaps the Astral Ward or the Wizard High Council for a significant period of time?
Oh, I have
That's
no
my
idea.
guess.
Probably.
That's my guess.
Or maybe not as significant. Well, I mean, depending on like where she is or whatever the hierarchy or structure is of this astral ward, we don't really know what that is. But just from the snippets of lines that we have received from the video, she has, you know, in combat, she has that commanding presence. But then the other lines that we received were like the very first one, which is like, everything's going to change again, but I'm okay with that. And then also there was a line of like, these people, they care about me, and like that sense of finally forming a relationship or at least connections with people. And so we have a little insight into that growth already.
So when Zojja was held captive by Mordremoth, my understanding was when she and Logan got out, they were both deeply affected by what happened to them. I think Logan less so than Zojja. So it's, and Logan was able to recover. You know, he's a little different, but he was able to recover. I think maybe Zojja needed something extra to recover, and it's possible she went out seeking aid to learn how to recover properly, and it's possible that's what led her to the Wizard's Tower, maybe.
Maybe.
And I think maybe that's why she was there.
And also, I'm also curious as to what exactly were the effects of the blighting pod. For Logan, it seemed like it was much more physically based, but as an Asura, for Zojja, it could have been a much stronger toll on her mental space and
Oh my God,
her
absolutely.
emotional center. So I wonder if like that even affected Zojja as an Asura differently than Logan, hence why she has to go through a more magical route and like soul searching almost, which we probably won't see much of, but we'll get to, you know, hear from
Also,
her.
she's just smaller, so, you know, any poisons in her affect her more than
Well, she might be more affected. No, that's a good. That's a good point. I think that's.
Well, I mean, the blighting pods were basically replication pods. We're back to the Borg or maturation chambers, right? Where they put somebody in and they duplicate them. They were going to make an army of Zojjas, an army of Logans. They were going to, obviously, exactly twisted, but they were kind of like it's like a 3D printer with a master copy. And I seem to remember where there's two options. You can either go to try and save Logan, or you can go and you can try and save Zojja, and depending on the witch was the one who got out of the pod. But I mean, they're going to spin that however they want. I will say, I think that the fact that she is wearing the Astral Scholar outfit gives credence to your assertion that she is a member of the Order, which completely feeds into the logic of that. I wonder if they're going to weigh into the mental. Again, they were looking at basically post-traumatic stress. And I wonder if they're going to be leaning into that.
I'm sure.
With the kind of long-term consequences, that kind of prisoner of war, basically, really.
Yeah, there's a lot for that need to be resolved mentally for Zojja.
I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be fun times.
But I don't know. I think she's already been resolved.
That's it. It's been 8 years, right? So
but I don't know if we're going to have.
Don't get me started on lifelong trauma. How it gets re-triggered. 8 years is not long.
But they do mention that Zojja has matured in the writings in that screen post. Is that she has already gone through this. So I don't know if we're going to be we're going to get answers, but I'm not sure if it's going to be something like Gyala Delve or what maybe people wanted out of Gyala Delve, where we're in that moment going through it. It'll be an explanation, and we will see the changes that all of that, you know, all of the Mordremoth incidents, how that has affected her. But I don't think it's going to be as raw as it was, you know, moments afterwards.
There is a line or two which might counter that, which I do have here, but it's open to interpretation. I'm going to read just like a little bit more of what was in the article I found important. So answering the question, what made this expansion the right time to bring Zojja back to Guild Wars 2, Indigo said, where we left off with Zojja's arc in HOT was pretty brutal after all. She'd had just suffered a horrible incident, returned to Red Assume to recover, and will soon learn she needed change. Zojja needed to find herself among the chaos of the Elder Dragons and expectations back at home, so she completely pieced out. She left. Like you're saying, Boots, like, goes to your point. But then there was something about middle adulthood, because she is technically middle-aged, which is interesting, because, you know, Felicia Day isn't a million.
You're saying there's a midlife crisis?
Well, no, that's what they infer to a degree, like with this, and it's like, I mean, Felicia Day isn't technically middle-aged yet, and middle-aged is probably nowadays is about 50, 55, but like, which doesn't make sense, but in terms of mentality.
So she's trading in Mr. Sparkles for a convertible.
She can that whip.
Yes.
Or Skyscale.
They were really quick. A lot of the emotional struggles that she tackled prior to and during the event of Soto, so, you know, she's still going through this, are very real conversations that all of us have, especially as we move into a middle adulthood. So I'm thinking about her own journey through her own life, where she is in life now, and what she expects from the future, not being part of like this young, virile group of adventurers that's always saving the day. Like, it sounds like she's moving into a place of more like kind of retirement almost to a degree, or like she's going to start to after Soto. And I'm thinking that after this, we probably won't see her again because of this, maybe. One, Felicia Days might not be able to actually get her again in the future, because it sounds like it was difficult to. And just like judging by what they're talking about in terms of the expansions and whatnot, this will probably be the last time we see them. So setting up that kind of ending. But yeah, any thoughts about that at all? Don't know if anyone has anything to add.
Yeah, I think this is just them settling Zojja as a character, where we had the peaks of everything in Heart of Thorns, and then we had a big space where we don't know what happened. But now in Secrets of the Obscure, we're going to hopefully, and I'm obviously going to answer some of those questions that we have, but see that she has settled in who she is more so. Because there has been such a stretch of time, seeing her as the exact same would be a bit jarring. Because you're like, well,
she won't be.
What were you doing? Yeah, no, she's going to be different.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see that.
I mean, I would say that it's... How can I put this? It's about purpose and thoughtfulness as you realize that there's like more years behind than there are ahead. Start to think about what you want to spend your time on, and it's less about... So, I mean, for example, she was an apprentice, and her identity was molded around her mentor, whose loss devastated. And you can maybe at some point she felt like she was on the coattails of these great people following in their way, and you get to a point in your life where you have to decide. It's not about like going out and finding myself. You decide who you want to be, and then you go and you make that happen. If you have any kind of personal agency, and you have any sort of the ability to do that, there's lots of other prerequisites to be able to sort of set your path, which is a deeper conversation. But I think that's the kind of the middlehood of existence. You see where you've been, you know who you are from how you, and you know where you want to be, or at least you have a directionality and you want it to have worth and merit. Absolutely. And if she has decided to commit herself wholeheartedly and her pursuits to this astral ward, then, or to the Wizard's Council, then you have to know that they must be a significant thoughtful force for good, because she, for all her anger and grief, she was a deeply moral person. There was the right of it, and she tried to do the right thing, even in the face of all her grief. So I think it's about intention and purpose and deciding how to spend your time. So perhaps, at least that's
I agree. Like in terms of like getting older, like absolutely, like you change a hell of a lot. Like, I'm very different to what I was like when I was 25, for example, in terms of my own journey, like wanting to settle down a little bit, get more stability. I'm not like out there doing all the things as much as I was. I still am probably, but like, that journey, you do become more solidified in who you are and what you want to represent and advocate for, and all these things. I think you're right. Seeing that more settled Zojja, but also like within this battle is like it almost like, is it a metaphor for Tyria as well? Like, what is this else a kind of metaphor for as well? I guess maybe is something that I'm thinking about, but yeah, or at least you know what you don't want to do. That's it, exactly, Rita. That's so true. Absolutely, because as you get older, you start to give less of a fuck about certain things.
Expansion is us learning that Zojja doesn't want to have hangovers anymore.
Something like that.
She's like, maybe I'm not built for that.
Yeah.
I miss alcohol. I do. I miss alcohol.
Yeah. There's a little snippet of here about the future cast as well, and they say, I can't remember who said this, I think it was Indigo. It's a goal of ours to introduce a newer cast in expansions moving forward with nods to our typical allies. This keeps things fresh for returning players and approachable for new folks. It also highlights the fact that we're exploring a new region, and thus are primarily interacting with new voices. Bringing Zojja in allowed her to serve as a grounding presence for the commander. Oh, that makes sense. Like, there's so much new, yet there's this really old acquaintance or this, older friend or whatever that comes back to, that is kind of, it's like when you go to a party and you don't know anyone.
And then you run into someone and you're like, oh my God, we're in the 3rd grade together.
Yeah, exactly. Thank God you're here. I have something in common with someone. I mean, that's my anxiety coming out probably, but hopefully someone understands that. I'm pretty sure some people do in the chat. Yeah, it was a really good article. Go read it. There's some really nice little insights about some of the processes and just their own thoughts, and you can see the growth in there, just not even just as individuals writing the story, and where Bobby is in this whole journey, because he's been there for so long, and like he's gone from some really, I can't remember the first thing he ever did, like going from quests to like now overseeing all of this. Like he's grown a lot, and it's just really cool.
I also like so a little while ago you were talking about Bobby's line about saying being happy to be done with the the dragon cycle, and I think you're right that it is partly they probably reached a certain point while writing the story that they were like, we just want to be done with the dragon so we could go to more some other stories. But I think it's also probably that there's like a real cathartic feeling to finally finish something that they've been developing and working on for 10 years or longer than that, really.
There are many
ways. It must feel so good to finally finish it, you know, and have it out there.
Well, that's one piece of content. Well, it's not one piece of content, but it's a whole story that someone can consume, and that's from beginning to not really beginning to end, but like wherever you want to say it began, but like there's an end to it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, must have been good. Also, like just kind of saying goodbye to so many characters and so many people that also were voicing those characters, and all of the different processes they had and people that came in from the beginning to the end as well. Like the amount of processing that would take is, that's a journey right there. That's a journey. Yeah, appreciate that work and effort. Okay. Good stuff. We're pretty much done. Unless
think
anyone
maybe-
has any more further
Yeah.
comments.
Nope.
I want to go to bed. Or like eat food.
I do have to.
I'm excited to see Kryptis models.
Yeah, so I might.
I really hope that we get
I want
more
to see them
game
wiggle a lot,
trailers.
No,
right? They gotta wiggle.
Yeah.
no wiggles.
I mean,
They're
it could be some
banned.
tentacles.
Oh.
I just hope that we get some more trailers because we're like 3 weeks away. Like that behind the cast was great, but I want to know more.
Yeah, they
wanna
really need
see
game. They
some
need
more.
a gameplay trailer, like a proper gameplay.
Yeah, that'll
trailer.
probably come out like a week before or
Yeah,
something.
like normal.
They're also releasing, like, in the summer of insane amount of games coming out at the same time.
Oh, they're in a bad area for releases. Like Baldur's Gate is next week. Like the rest of it.
Yeah. There's
Um,
Starfield. There's
Starfield, yeah. There is. So, actually,
There's Guild Wars 2. That's up there.
that is
That's
up
a
there.
big name.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
Do you
there's
think Baldur's
half of
Gate
Xbox.
people are like, oh my god, Guild Wars 2 is releasing? Like, do you
No.
think?
Definitely. Absolutely.
Do you think
there
other
are so
bigger
many
games?
people that play Guild Wars 2 that play Baldur's Gate 3. Like,
Yeah.
there were so many people.
I've got 100 hours into that game and it hasn't even released yet.
Wow.
But I always wonder if people who are like, wow, they're like, oh my god, the Guild Wars 2 expansion's releasing. Oh no, we gotta line that up. Or if it's always just like whichever game you most closely associate with. Are we all worrying about everything, or can everything release at the same time and coexist normally?
It's gonna take.
Well, I mean-
It's gonna take people's, because people don't tend. Nowadays, I think people are like, I will buy it when it comes out after a while, or like after I've seen reviews and stuff. Like, people are a little bit more cautious with their money because there are so many games, and it's just like, oh my god. Also, as a note, in the description below, you can purchase the game from one of these wonderful personages.
What?
Affiliate links, because they're all Arenanet partners, including myself. So
Wow.
there's a link down there if you want to support one of these awesome personages or myself. It would be massively
I
appreciated.
do want to buy some new brogues. I do want to buy some new brogues.
Some new what? Sorry.
Brogues. Brogues.
And I just
Right.
bought a
I'll
a
type
gift
for you.
skin, like, because you guys told me to, and now I need to replace those gems somehow.
I want to pay my internet bill so I can keep doing this.
I've got to
That's-
pay
that's
for my
fair, that's
cat's
a-
litter and food and insurance. So I don't know if anyone's seen the
Cat has
cat.
insurance?
Insurance?
There's cat insurance?
Yeah, of course.
What?
Cats have
Yeah, that's-
insurance.
Well, that
You mean like health insurance?
optional,
Healthcare.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh!
that's optional. Though. You don't have to buy pet insurance.
If you don't buy pet insurance for your pet, you are awful.
Or you just know what you're
What do
doing?
you mean? You just go to
No,
the vet.
pets have an emergency. Yeah, they go to the vet, of course. And how do you think you
Yeah.
pay for that? With insurance.
You hope that you take good enough care of your pet that they don't need to spend more than the insurance costs.
I think
in
I can
vet
safely
bills.
say that I've
if a
never heard
pet
of
gets
pet insurance.
if one of your pet, like if a pet gets an injury or like some kind of disease,
Yeah, you take
you're
care
gonna
of it.
pay like
But-
10
What is it, like an
grand.
iPhone?
It's
Oh
not gonna
my
be 10
god,
grand.
that's wild! You don't get pets. Like, I don't know, so many people with pet insurance.
I don't
know
think
some
I've
people
ever
with pet
heard someone
insurance, but it's-
refer to it as pet insurance.
It's pet
Really?
insurance.
Is
I
pet
don't-
insurance? What else is good called? Cat insurance then.
I just always like, you just go to the vet, and then if you have insurance, like, I
They
don't
use
know.
it. Yeah. It costs a lot less.
I will say Guild Wars 2 has an dragging the back on topic for a second. Outside
Canada's
of pet
cheaper than
insurance.
America. This is America though. Sorry, go on.
Jesus God. I would say that Guild Wars 2 has a bit of an edge when it comes to the purchasing process because it doesn't have a subscription, and everybody who plays the game knows that the content is evergreen. You can buy it tomorrow, not play it for 2 years, go in, and everything will be fine.
Yeah.
You're not behind the curve. You're not anything. Acres of story to play,
That's right.
which I think is a great advantage. How they're delivering content.
So much. Stuff.
Unlike me with 14, yeah,
Mm.
still behind the curve.
Also, Path of Exile 2 trailer and stuff came out because XLCon's on at the moment. Anyway,
What are they supposed to do? I remember that being announced a while back.
oh yes, there is a lot of stuff at the moment. It's kind of scary. Okay, we're going to end the podcast there, unless anyone had any more points. And if you saw during this stream, if anyone saw a cat going over there and eating food because something has moved, I will give you 400 gems in the comments. If you find out the time for that, I will give you 400 gems. The first person, if there was a cat there, and you find that timestamp, I will give you 400 gems. First person to comment on YouTube. So, if I don't know if it did, the small little thing could have just fallen out by itself. But
what's your cat's name?
I don't have one yet because they're scared.
Oh, you have insurance, but you haven't given them a name? Wow.
Whoa, that's funny because you do need a name, so I just used their one from the shelter. Yeah.
Which is?
I'm not saying their name from the show because it's shit.
Oh, you're gonna dox your cat? Sorry.
No. The cat. Well, the cat's name, in the adoption place was Buttercream, which is not a name that I want to keep.
That's fair.
Out.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's not great. She is 1. She's 1 year old.
Not to hurt any buttercreams out there.
Yeah,
y'all are
sorry.
amazing.
Yeah. No.
But she is 1.
Oops, such a.
She was she was a stray, and she's been in tons of different shelters, and she's just been hiding. And I opened the door yesterday so she could come out, and she's under my bed. She got into this tiny little area which I thought I blocked off, and she's just sitting there scared. So I'm like hoping she keeps coming out.
What about cream cheese?
I'm not into
Cream
names
cheese.
that are multiple names. I'm not into compound names. Like Mr. Fluffball, like you either choose fluff or you choose ball. One or the other.
Or Fluffball, not Mister.
No, it could be one or the other.
It's true.
One or the other.
I mean, some people like buttercream. That's true. I just.
Oh, I love eating buttercream. Not.
I'm not a big fan of buttercream, actually.
Really?
I really don't know what buttercream is, so.
No.
I have to disagree. We had a cat, and
no.
we had a cat, and he was called the Fudge because he was the Fudge. He
I
wasn't
actually
just
like
Fudge.
that name.
He was Fudge.
His name?
That
It was the first name last name basis.
Oh, it's like the dude from
Or was it a
Big
title?
Lebowski.
Was
you know?
the-
It was
a
almost like an
title.
honorific. Yes, it was like an honorific. He was.
There's
the
wiggle
Fudge.
room for that in my
Okay,
house.
Okay.
In my house.
He was a
I'm
good
glad-
boy. He
I'm
was a
glad.
good boy.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
so
very generous of you, darling.
I will be working on this name in the coming months.
Okay.
But first of all,
Are you going to name it after like a Guild Wars 2 char?
well, I was thinking of it, and I've looked up a couple of names. There's some, but like I
That'd be
need.
hella nerdy.
I mean,
Just-
it's
I'm kidding.
gonna be massively nerdy, Kroof. Let's be honest.
Yes.
I had the name Nebula as well.
Krisha?
I was thinking, well, Krisha is a nice one, but I'm not connecting to it much. I got to connect to it, so it might be an Asura. So maybe Zojja.
My dog's
Oh,
name is
that would be
Aw.
actually kind of cool.
It's kind
My
of
dog's
cute.
name is Poutine.
My
Actually,
dog's
yeah.
name is Poutine. You could do a British junk food, or like call your cat
Button.
Bangers.
Croissant.
I actually kind of like
Bangers
Zojja.
and mash.
I could call my cat Zojja.
Call your cat Spotted.
Yeah, Zojja's kind of cute.
I
Did
like
we
that.
just kind of determine a potential name on
That
stream?
is one of them.
Zojja's
I
pretty
need
good.
more. I like Zojja.
Yeah. I like
Not
Zojja.
Timey. We've had enough of that.
Yeah.
Maybe Mr. Pigglesworth. Anyway,
Mrs. Sparkles.
Mrs. Sparkles.
But it has to be first name, last
She's
name.
Ms. Sparkles.
Because you can't have a compound.
Because she's not Mrs. She's not married.
I like author names like Asimov and things like that.
Ooh.
Like
And
Isaac
Belikovsky.
Asimov?
Yeah,
Oh, God,
one of my
don't
favorite
give-
authors.
Ooh. Okay.
Let's not talk about Foundation. on
That-
Apple.
I
Let's just
mean-
not talk about it. Okay.
Okay, Kroof, what do you
it's
do?
too soon.
Kroof, what do you
Hi
do when you do?
everyone. I post videos on the internet, and I do things that used to be called tweets, but now they're called X, because we're in the new era, and it's
extreme.
really cool. And like, if you're not doing that, you're not cool. And if you're not placating to teenage boys, then you're not cool, even though you might be in your midlife crisis era. Other than that, you can find me posting AI art because I don't care about artist credit and credibility. Thanks for having me.
Well, that's right, Kroof. When we were talking about Zojja having possibly midlife crisis, we didn't talk to you and ask you how you related to the midlife crisis.
A midlife crisis?
Yeah.
I'm in my quarter life.
Yes. Yeah.
1/6 life crisis. 1/5, 1/6 life crisis.
Something like that.
Let's hope, at least.
I mean,
Yeah.
so far it's going pretty
Let's say
good.
1/10 life crisis. Just to be
It's
safe.
going pretty good.
I don't know.
Love it. Okay, crew, thank you so much. Next is going to be Boots. What are you doing?
Hi. I'm Bubba Boots. You can find me on World Avengers on YouTube, and go check that place out. Also, I've been video with WP recently. I was there, and there's going to be another one either today or tomorrow. And that's it.
Okay. And last but certainly not least, Fornax, aka the Crichton Herald. What have you do? What have you do it?
What was the video about, Boots?
Oh, he wanted to go.
Sorry.
Oh.
It's okay. Just completely
Laura, you wanted to
override
go-
your own introduction about what you do.
I know, but just quickly, sorry, please. I'm curious.
He wanted to go over the upcoming changes to elite spec weapons and do a tier list of how good each one would be.
Which I have some thoughts and feelings on.
Wait, what?
Yeah. I think we
Oh, the
we were
tea!
right about.
The
I think we were right
tea!
about a good amount of them, and I think a few of them we were not quite on the money, and I think that's fine.
Wait, a tier list? So he did like S tier, like which weapons for classes?
Yeah.
That's
There's a
so
lot
weird
of,
when you don't know
there's a
anything
lot
about
of
them.
vetoes.
And neither of you played it.
No, not
Wait,
the new
what?
weapons. Not the new.
Not the new one. Not the new ones. The ones they've announced.
No, the
Yeah.
beta ones.
Yeah, the beta ones.
Okay,
didn't
I'm
play the
totally
beta?
going to watch that. Thank you. I love listening to you guys banter. You're such good friends. It's lovely. Okay, sorry. I'm Fornax, the Crichton Herald. I'm a fan of wooden potatoes and Boots over there. And Kroof and Jeb. All of you guys. And
Oh, I was
Rook,
included.
who has abandoned us to go and have
Yeah,
awesome
they
fun
went
at
and
the
spent
Final
time with
Fantasy
another MMORPG.
cheating on us. It's just
Cheater.
disgraceful. Yeah.
Terrible.
But I make content over on YouTube. I occasionally stream here on Twitch, mostly for Guild Wars 2, but I am going to be jumping into Palia. But do check out my latest video where I kind of do a weird lore dive into the possibilities for the purpose of the Wizard's Tower and the possible allies that we could see. I'm hoping for a Lagos unexpected entry into the story as maybe allies of the Kryptis. It'd be fun. I'm here for it. Yeah.
Nice.
And that's it.
Okay, and I am Jebro. Make sure you check out all the stuff, please. Would appreciate it massively. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. There might be a board. We'll talk about Borders Gate.
Can we please? I would love
If everyone wants to, if everyone's gonna buy it, then sure.
Though I think it only is 4
I
people
already
in a
have.
party.
Oh really?
Yeah, four to a party. That's true. So one of us is gonna get kicked out.
Damn.
I'll just cast it with you.
We could
Who
rotate.
do we dislike
Can
the
you
most?
rotate?
Rook is not here.
Yeah, Rook is not here, so they're done. They're out. They're out.
Oh, gee.
I mean, maybe I'll actually base it on the fact on who is actually regularly here, because then that would make sense.
Okay. Well,
If they just open it up to 5 people. Ugh.
I didn't know that actually.
I know we're 1 over.
Good thing Rook is here to plead the case. That's true.
Actually, no, she would be salty as all
No,
shit.
she would
because
be the-
she is
The one person.
do you know what?
The one person.
Do you know what character you'd play? Like what your classes would
Wow, I swear, like you want to go. I swear you want to go and like cook
Oh
dinner.
yeah.
And like you're gonna
I'm gonna be playing a druid at least for the first run through.
be? Well, is it just because of that cutscene?
You know, I was like, we should all have a meeting and decide who we're gonna play.
Oh, because of the bear cutscene?
But that one
Oh my
cutscene.
god.
Yes.
That is why.
Yes.
That is why.
I want to have some fun with bears.
No.
Well, I'm gonna be a
They
dwarf,
got
so.
banned on TikTok for that. They got banned on TikTok for
As
that.
they
though.
should.
Are you
As they
serious?
should.
No, I am
way.
serious. Yeah.
TikTok
tell you,
won't
I'll tell
address
you.
the bullying and harassment, but will ban. I mean, it is.
Consensual flirtation-y coitus with mammals. Yes.
With
Well,
a bear.
technically, it's not the word I
Wait,
was gonna say. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
they
Like
They
I
said
said.
they said get that gay shit off the TV. I'm not watching that.
Oh God.
Anyway,
No.
okay. So
I wish I hadn't said anything now. Okay. Carry
no,
on.
I think we were reminded
But
about a fantastic
so
moment,
good.
where everyone was just like, "This is
I do
very
like
cool,"
shape-shifting.
and I'm like
Not,
just completely
not
confused.
for kinks though. Not for kinks. Mostly for scouting, to be honest. But
What did
you know.
say? What did
Okay.
you say?
Okay.
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 Hey, what?
Fine.
You
Fine.
can, that's
fine.
fine. You can do what you want as long as it's. All right. Anyway, I don't know. I'm gonna raid someone, but also please go and follow and check out the podcast anchor.fm/Jebro. There is also a link below the Twitch channel on twitch.tv/JebroUnity as well. YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and follow all these wonderful people. Their information will be in the description as well. Let us know what you thought about this episode. Please chuck a review or rate it or whatever, wherever you're listening to this to. That would be massively appreciated if you do want to support the channel or the podcast. Massively appreciated. Do put a lot of time into these. And I and the rest of the Lightbringers will see you next week, where we may start talking about the weapons, depending on whether or not they actually release anything else information-wise about the expansion, hopefully. We'll probably start talking about a bunch of the weapons, what we think abilities might be as well.
Yeah, I think we should do that just so that Kroof could, in the meantime, write down a big list of everything I got wrong, and then be like, "I present to you
The correct cheerleader.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here
This is a
first,
good watch.
live marking of homework podcast.
This is a good watch. Go watch
Yeah.
the video. It was fun.
Okay. Otherwise, we will see you next time on the Lightbringers podcast.
Sweating so much.
Good. Thank you. Cruz face.
Good thank you to you too, Jebro.
Thank you and thank you. Thank you very much. Bye bye, everyone. See you soon.